So, we're back for another VGC guide, and this time we're looking at Porygon2. It's always amusing when the pre-evolution is significantly better than the final evolution. It was debatable back when Z-moves were around, because Z-conversion and Breakneck Blitz were pretty strong, and also in the Dynamax era, Max Strike was pretty strong, but now with Terra, Porygon2 easily eclipses Porygon Z. Terra doesn't do enough for Porygon Z, but it does significant things for Porygon2. You classically ran just Bulk Beam coverage on your Porygon2, like Thunderbolt and Ice Beam. That's very standard on Porygon2. Now you can get Stab Thunderbolt on top of that. Definitely wouldn't go Ice. Ice is a terrible defensive type. Electric is fine. Definitely go for the Electric Stab instead. But then you get Bulk Beam coverage with extra power on your Thunderbolt. When you have Trace and you get your special attack boost, Porygon has over 200 attack. So you do significant damage. When you get Stab on top of that Thunderbolt, that's actually really, really good damage, while being insanely bulky. Eviolite is a busted item, especially for Porygon2. It is absolutely one of the best Eviolite users ever, and its bulk is insane. Like, the amount of hits that you will survive, that you will see it survive as well when you face it, it's going to survive a lot. And you'll be able to set up Trick Room pretty easily because of that. You want bulky Trick Room setters because you need to be able to survive the hits to be able to set that Trick Room. Porygon2 can absolutely do that. And then it gets Recover on top of that. Because it's so bulky and hard to kill, Recover gets it way more longevity, and you can 1v1 endgames with Porygon2 just because the opponent can't defeat the Porygon2 quickly enough because it's so bulky, and you do significant damage back with your Trace. So long as you get the special attack boost. When you get the attack boost, it's not as strong, but it's still fine. When you get the special attack boost, it is significant. This special attack investment is so that you can OHKO a Landorus Therian with an Ice Beam if you do not get the special attack boost. And then it's just general bulk otherwise, which will be able to survive a lot of things, like Trust. Porygon2 will survive a lot of things. Maybe you want to speed creep a little. You do have the same base speed as Incineroar, so maybe you want to speed creep that. Maybe you want to have no speed and then some minus speed as well. It would come down to personal preference. On certain hard Trick Room teams, or harder Trick Room teams I should say, that are more focused on getting into Trick Room, Porygon2 probably wants to sacrifice some of its speed. Maybe go min speed as well, but otherwise just a general Porygon2, it doesn't really matter what its speed stat is, but if you do need to lean more in towards Trick Room, feel free to go minimum speed. Bulk Beam coverage is near perfect, like there's, Rotom Heat, and anything else? I'm sure there's something I'm missing that Bulk Beam doesn't actually hit neutrally at least. If you can think of anything other than Rotom Heat, please put it in the comments, but yeah, Bulk Beam is near perfect coverage, but Tri-Attack, that's a very good attack on Porygon2 as well, because it gets Stab immediately. You don't need Terra to get Stab immediately. So, this is not a recommended moveset. These are just alternatives that you can have on this Porygon2. So, like I said, Tri-Attack, that's just generally good Stab. If you have Tri-Attack, I would lean way more towards Shadow Ball as your coverage. Otherwise, Ice Beam is fine. Get rid of Thunderbolt for Tri-Attack if you're replacing that. But also consider replacing Ice Beam with Shadow Ball, because then you have basically perfect coverage again, because you've got normal that doesn't hit Ghost, and then Ghosts are hit by Shadow Ball. And you can also turn into a Ghost type, which is good defensively, because fighting type attacks is your only weakness, and then Ghost becomes immune, while also being able to get Stab on top of your Shadow Balls. So Tri-Attack and Shadow Ball is a very good combination as well. It's basically like, which does your team prefer? Thunderbolt and Ice Beam, or Tri-Attack and Shadow Ball? Those are the two combinations you really should go for. Eerie Impulse was used a lot on Porygon2 back last generation, because being able to reduce special attack of some Pokemon allows Porygon2 to immediately 1v1 them. If there's a Pokemon that would have done 60% to your Porygon2, then you'll be able to Eerie Impulse them. Suddenly they're doing 30%, you'll be able to recover, and then you win the 1v1. So Eerie Impulse can win some games for Porygon2. It's just, what do you sacrifice? Because you have to sacrifice some kind of coverage. Like, if you sacrifice Trick Room, that's one of Porygon2's main niches. If you sacrifice Recover, you don't have the longevity, so that's kind of pointless. And then if you sacrifice one of the coverage moves, you won't hit something at all. So if you're sacrificing something, I'll probably just have Ice Beam as your coverage. And then you can drop your Thunderbolts for the coverage. I wouldn't have Tri-Attack just on its own, because Flutter Mane is so common, and then you don't want to get into an endgame where it's Porygon2 versus Flutter Mane with only Tri-Attack. That will not end well for you. If you had any other attack, you would win. So, Aerial Impulse, it's good, but hard to fit on your team. Also, Gravity, just an honorable mention. If you've got, like, Ursaluna trying to sweep in Trick Room, Gravity will be able to help with that, because it does now have Gravity available for it, and it's a pretty good move in just ensuring accuracy for all your attacks. But otherwise, you probably just want to be going with the Recover Trick Room set, and then your choice of coverage. Thunderbolt or Ice Beam, or Tri-Attack and Shadow Ball. Otherwise, you're actually doing significant damage. You're insanely bulky. This Pokemon is absolutely going to see play.